What's
Yeah.
up? That's one way to start it.
I love it. I
Oh
love it.
my gosh, that's an upgrade from what we were doing before.
Yeah, absolutely.
It got me pumped. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, that was
What's
awesome.
up, everybody?
That was great, KJ. I love it.
Who liked my intro? I made it last night.
He was killing it last night. She was killing it last night. Yeah, it was awesome. Came up with a
I
lot
got
of
lots of new ideas for content for you guys on YouTube. So it's on the way, okay? It's on the way.
Absolutely.
So nice. Everybody that's here, that's new, welcome. If you're new, put some fires in the chat. I know we've got some new people who've joined our group that's recently I don't know what my mind is thinking, but
on the way.
Oops,
I was
sorry.
like,
That was me.
I was like, I hear myself. No, you're good. Oh my gosh. We got a ton of people in here.
I know. Wow. I was just looking at that too.
What's up, everyone?
Man,
Tonight,
who hasn't been to a Q&A before?
yeah, tonight is Q&A, guys. Have you guys been in our Q&As before? We want to know in the chat. Q&A.
This is your opportunity to ask us questions for free. This is the time where you get to pick our brains, where we set aside time to answer all of your questions, or as many as we can get to. But yeah, man, we got lots of new people.
I know people always asking questions, but
First
that's what you got to do in this business. If you're not asking questions, then you're not growing, and you got to be growing. You really
What's
got to
up,
be growing.
Stephanie Vargas, she's here. What's up, Trang? Chuck, first timer. Amanda, Simon.
I want to say this too. All those that you guys are watching on Facebook, I highly recommend going over to the YouTube channel, because this is all it says when you guys are using the Facebook, unless you put your name on there. And if you go on the YouTube channel, you can chat with other people and we can see your name.
Bo, you're not a first timer, Bo.
Hold on. I'll share the link on the YouTube so you guys can join in on there if you want. I mean, whichever you prefer, but YouTube's where it's at.
We got some questions already in the chat, and I see one. We'll get to it, Rob, but I see you. To syndicate or not syndicate? That is a question. Love it, bro.
Awesome. Well, shoot. I'm ready when y'all are ready.
Let's do it. I see this one first.
Or should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, we got some.
I guess we didn't do that.
Let's do that. It's been a while.
Okay. Welcome. Who wants to go first? Nose goes.
Go, you go.
No, you go. You go.
My name's Joseph. We just like to be real laid back here, and we make sure that we get all your questions answered. My name's Joseph Mudd. We're part of JBM Legacy. We're also called the $1 Million Upside Team. That's the name that we were coined by you guys, and I mean we loved it, so we just stuck with it. It sounded good. So that's who we are. My name is Joseph. My wife is on my screen this way to the right of me. And go ahead, babe.
I'm KJ. There's 6 of us on the team. We're missing some of us, but we all do different roles on the team. We all work together to acquire deals. I'm sure a lot of you saw we recently closed a 40 unit in Tennessee. So we just come on here and we want to give back to you guys and be a resource that we didn't have in the beginning. And so hopefully you guys can get value from what we do here by creating this platform for you guys to come and ask us questions. And we share what we learn along the way as well, the mistakes that we make or the things that we're going through in the moment as we're doing it. So yeah. And then there's Oscar right below me.
Hey guys, I'm Oscar. My beautiful girlfriend, who's also part of the team, Ione, is not here today, but she's typically the one who underwrites the deals, and she's a very integrator type person. So she's behind the scenes all the time. And I'm the visionary, so I'm typically in front, kind of like with KJ and Carolyn, up front, creating those relationships, talking to people, talking to brokers, and structuring the deal in multifamily. With Myron, I work alongside with Myron a lot in raising capital and deal structure. And so that's kind of what we do in a nutshell. I'm ready though.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Ready.
And I see Bo. He says he likes the text message updates. Yes, I'm glad. I send them out. They kind of took. I set it to send at 7:40. I am on the list, and I just got the text, so it kind of lags a little bit, I guess, because there's so many people. But if you guys want to get on our text updates, so you can remember when to hop on, let me put the website. Or Joseph, do you know? Is it Zoom dot?
Yeah, I think it's Zoom.jvm Legacy.
What's up, Lynn? What's up, David? Amanda, good to have you here. Bo, always a pleasure. Chuck, I saw you hop on. Chuck Russell, Robert, what's going on? Ryan, got a bunch of other people on here. Dennis, what's up, Dennis? Michelle, how's it going? Joel, what's up, bro? All right.
All our new friends. But if you go to this website here and put your name and info, then I can send you text messages when we go live and when our Zooms are and all of the above. That way you don't miss out. Okay, first question. Let's hit them.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, this is a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask about multifamily related, for those of you who are new, put them in the chat and we'll get to them as hopefully we can get to all of them today.
Yeah, the chat's already blown up, dude. Yeah, all right, let's go. First question. That's Michelle. Do you only purchase commercial multifamily? It's kind of a loaded question. Yes, we do only purchase commercial multifamily as far as apartments, but we also come from the single family side, so we still do some wholesale and looking to buy creative deals, just to have the really good ones, right? But we're primarily looking for only apartments. Rob, to syndicate or not to syndicate? Oscar, to syndicate or not to syndicate?
Rob, this is another loaded question, man. If you can get away with not having to syndicate the deal, by all means, bro, do it. It's just a lot less work that you have to do, especially legal wise. Like we're, again, disclaimer, we always say this, we're not attorneys, we're not CPAs, we're not financial advisors. Gonna put out there. But if I could do a deal, Rob, where I don't have to syndicate it, I will do that. I will go that route. But typically the deals that we look at, they're 100 units and above now, because KJ and Ione decided that, hey, we need to look at 100 units, stop wasting our time. We would do the traditional syndication model for our deal. So we would syndicate the deals that we do.
Sean says, do you have a step-by-step from start to finish? We do not, but that's a little bit part of what KJ was kind of working on, is kind of putting some of those ideas together into smaller, shorter lives. Rather than doing these large 2-hour lives, we're going to start putting out more content in shorter, easier to watch forms.
So I made a post on Facebook about what you guys want content on or what you want to learn about. And so I took a bunch of those ideas and then I went and made YouTube thumbnails. And so now I've got content ideas. I'm like, we're going to break it down each topic. So then when you guys have questions, you go to the YouTube channel and it's that specific topic. Cause I know it can be frustrating trying to watch a long video and it's like, where's the answer when I need it? So we're in the works of that.
For sure. And guys, while we answer these questions, the chat is there for you guys really to network with each other. So if you guys want to network with each other in the chat, I would highly encourage it. You might find your next deal there. You might find your next partner or partners or your team. I encourage you to guys to chat with amongst each other. Tell everybody where you're from, what you guys are looking for, what you're looking for in a partner or anything, and network with each other, guys. It's powerful.
Look at can I show a comment real quick?
Yeah.
Look at this one.
That's
This
what I was
makes
going
my
to show. Yeah, I was just about to show that. Yeah.
Robert, this is awesome. He said the advice from last week resulted in Marcus and Millichap calling me. Then they sent me 100 units off Marcus and okay, I can't say that word. Let's not judge.
Off market.
Minnesota.
So awesome. Congrats to you for taking action and making it happen. That makes me happy to hear.
Good job, Robert.
Share your wins. We like to hear them, you guys.
Share them, guys. In the Facebook group too. We want to hear them.
Talking about the sorry, that's our dog, guys. That loud slapping, that's our dog.
Are you sure that wasn't you, bro?
Yeah. Yes, my cheeks. No, I'm just kidding. But Joel, your question, bro. He's talking about Rob to syndicate, not to syndicate. That's it's not really whatever deal you can get away with not syndicating. That would be great. Yeah, it just means that you have more of the pie for yourself. That's what syndication is. It's putting a bunch of people together. If you're not syndicating, then it's just you and your team. If you're syndicating, you have a bunch of investors involved too. That's all that means. And yes, I would prefer to do it smaller, but if big ones work too, that's great. What do you do if you find a deal but have no funds yourself? What would be a good share? I think maybe share for yourself versus the rest of the funding partners. That's a great question, Bryce. Do you want to go take that one, Oscar?
Yeah. Hey, Bryce. So that's a very good question, especially if you're brand new. And like for us, when we first started, we didn't have any money, right? We did this whole thing, nothing. Like we just started from scratch. So for us, it was important because since we don't have any money, we had time. I wouldn't say a lot of time, but we had time to dedicate to multifamily. And our first deal that we did, we had to negotiate. Well, not really negotiate. What we did, Bryce, is we brought a really good deal. We structured a seller finance deal. And those of you who know, it's the one in Corpus Christi. We structured it very, very good, where basically anyone that we talked about this deal to, they wanted to buy it from us because it was that good. Like really great terms, seller finance, everything. And so what we did is we could have wholesaled it if we wanted to, Bryce, but instead we knew that what our end goal was, and we wanted to be part of a deal. So we simply asked this question: what will it take for us to be part of this deal? That's it. That's exactly what we asked, because we're not going to be there being extra greedy and saying, hey, I deserve the bigger slice of the pie or whatever. I did this, I did that. No, multifamily works a lot different. So for us, the question that you would ask, Bryce, if you were to find a deal, you were to structure it, everything, very nice deal, then bring it to someone and ask them, what will it take for me to be part of this deal? And start that way. Typically, what you see a lot of times is it's people who boots on the ground is your number one way to get into a deal. If you're local to that market, which I would recommend, Bryce, if you're looking for a deal, make sure it's in your backyard. That way, if you do bring it to someone, you can be like, hey, I'm local to this area. I know this area very well. I can be boots on the ground. And that can be a way for you to get into the deal. But I would always ask that question: what will it take for me to be part of this deal? Good question.
Bro, even better answer. Hugh Sutherland, we would definitely be interested in talking about those 136. We could help you structure that. Let us know.
Oh, yes,
Reach
let's
out to
do
one of
it.
them. We love creative deals. That's our favorite. So let us know where that's at too. If it's in Texas, even better.
If Myron were here, dude, he'd be already calling you right now, Hugh.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Myron's birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah, Myron's birthday is tomorrow, guys.
Make sure you message him or post happy birthday to him. He's a big part of our team.
Facebook user says, I'm always looking for private money lending. Good, as you should be. Is there a secret to raising private capital? No, not really. The secret is to just get out there and talk to people. That's the secret. Talk to people, tell them what you're doing, and just be straightforward. And the better of an understanding that you can get from this and other sources and understand multifamily and just networking in general the easier it is to have these conversations, and the more you do it, the better you get.
That's Stephanie Vargas, by the way. And Stephanie, the way typically what happens when you're raising capital is the people who you raise capital from don't really invest in the deal. As I mean, they do like the deal. Don't get me wrong. The deal is very important. You have to have a great deal. But at the end of the day, what they really invest in is you, Stephanie. If they like you, if they know you, if they trust you, then as soon as you get more deals, they're just going to be like, oh, Stephanie, she brings great deals. I don't even have to look at the deal. Here's the money. Right. So when you're raising capital, it's really the relationship that you're wanting to build, Stephanie. Build those relationships, consistently talk to your investors and the people that you're, presenting these deals to. Because I know for a fact that KJ and Joseph talk to one of our investors almost daily or weekly, if not. Y'all know which one I'm talking about, the one who invested in Rocky Top with us, right? He's our partner. And I also have a few of the investors that I talk to on it almost daily. Because of the relationships that we have. And so they know, they like us, they trust us, and private money isn't as hard as long as you build those relationships consistently and keep growing on them. And that's it.
That's it. Chuck Russell, do you underwrite a 2 to 10 unit differently than 40 plus units? Is your formula any different? So 2 to 4 is considered residential multifamily. 5 plus is considered commercial multifamily, and 5 plus is all underwritten the same way. 2 to 4 is underwritten the same as a single family house.
So 2 to 4 is with comps, yes. Right? So you're comparing versus like 5 and up. It's not based on the comps. You're not running comps. You're underwriting it based on what the property is producing income wise, right?
Exactly.
Hey,
AJ, okay, I see you.
Yeah, I love it.
KJ, taking your job, Joseph.
Bro, she's coming at me. No, that's awesome, man.
Look at me. I'm gonna come take your job.
Oh, Lynn, got the great question. Nobody has asked this question, Lynn. You are the first one.
Where's Ione when we need her?
Lynn says, where did Ione learn underwriting? Hey, Ione. She's not here. But that's a good question. Where did she learn underwriting? She's still learning underwriting, Lynn. Just last night, she was watching an underwriting course on all about equity waterfall and how it's structured and everything like that. She was geeking out on me earlier about, hey, did you know we can do this on equity waterfall? Like the deal can be structured, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I have to watch the video or something. No, but in all seriousness, she's learning consistently. She never stops. But where she started was another multifamily group. And I can tell you guys what that is separately in a DM if you guys want to message me. It's another multifamily group that we started that taught us how to use an analyzer, the one that Joseph uses till this day. And she learned how to analyze the P&Ls and T12s from that same course. And on top of that, she went above and beyond and started doing her own research with people like Michael Blank and other resources out there that are big names in the industry that you can just check out. So she got courses on how to use analyzers as well and figured it out. And we are also part of the mentorships here and there that taught us a little bit of other stuff. But yeah, typically it's just she's just reaching out and learning more on her own all the time, reading books, a lot of books, Lynn. She's probably have like 5 books just dedicated to multifamily themselves. But yeah, that message me on the side whenever you can, and I'll give you the resources.
Larry Jeffries says, how are you finding deals? Agents, direct to seller, or door knocking? KJ, I think this is right up your alley.
So for multifamily, 100 plus units, I do not leave my desk. I sit right here.
We got Carolyn here.
Hey, Carolyn.
What's up, Carolyn?
Hi.
Join the club.
All right, I'll mute. Go for it.
No, you're good. Really, we're sourcing them from brokers, building relationships with brokers. on and off market, it really doesn't make a difference to us. What matters is the cash flow, the returns, and yeah, I mean, we also have people who bring us wholesalers who will bring us deals as long as they're direct to seller and we're able to control the deal and not dealing with daisy chains, then we'll look at those deals too. So really, we have a huge flow coming in from our brokers right now that that's all we need to do. We're not cold calling, we're not pulling lists, and we're not door knocking. We're just doing broker outreach, and that's been doing really well for us so far.
I've
So
done
that's how
I've
we
done
got our
one
deals.
door knock before for multifamily apartments.
He has. He has.
And I did it while we were in Houston. I don't know if y'all remember. I got down.
Oh yeah.
I told Joseph, pull over right here. I'm gonna go check out this property real quick. And I went over there with Leone and I knocked on the door, literally knocked on the leasing office door.
That's funny.
And it worked though. I did get a lead. I just
You did get a lead.
the lead wasn't that great, but I did get a lead.
Love it.
So you could do it any way you want, I guess, but that's what's worked for us.
Yeah.
This is a good question. David Sierra, do you guys determine your purchase price doing the napkin underwriting or using the current NOI on the T12? So I know we got a lot of new people and there's a lot in this question. So we'll just kind of go through it, right? So napkin underwriting is something that we were taught and we have taught, and there's previous videos about it, so I won't go too far into it. But it's a way that you can get the numbers from your broker, and within about 5 minutes, you can figure out, is the deal that I'm looking at, are the numbers the I don't want to get too into it. Are the numbers that I have in front of me, do they compare competitively to what I think the property should be worth based on the numbers I have and the market analysis that I know? And it's a really simple formula, and there's a bunch of videos I've done about it, so I won't go too far into it. We got a lot of questions.
You lost me. Can I do it a little different?
Yeah, do it.
For the visionaries, because you were talking integrator. Because I was like, oh God.
We don't speak that language here.
I know. So the napkin underwriting, what he's referring to is a quick way to determine if their asking price is a reasonable asking price. So you can see where your asking price needs to be at. So if they're asking, like a deal I got today, 90 million, and we did the napkin underwrite, it tells me 30 million. Well, I don't need to deeper underwrite this property. It's a waste of time. So
That's what we got today.
yeah. So that's how you can quickly figure out, do I dig deeper into this property? Do I take time to put it into the analyzer or not? Okay, sorry, I had to do it.
No, you're good. That's the teaching. Then she was going to do teaching for a while, so I get it. So NOI is your net operating income. It's basically how much the property produces on an annual basis. It's the income remaining, the income minus expenses. And your T12 is the trailing 12 months of income and expenses for that property. It's all the financials for a year worth of time. So do we determine the purchase price? We really do it off of the underwriting, truly underwriting. So you put it into the analyzer and you tweak it. And as long as the price that they're asking or whatever price you're using in the analyzer produces good returns for your investors and you can exit comfortably, that's what's important. As long as the first thing I look at, I put in all the inputs, I put everything in, and I go and look at the returns for the investors. That's what I go look at. Has everything I put in look good? No? Okay, well, there's no point looking at it further, right? So that for me, that's the quickest way to do it. And I just go and do that over and over and over and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it until I get something that looks good, and then just go from there. The napkin underwrite's just to figure it out real quick. Should I spend any more time doing this before you do all that work? I know it's a very long-winded answer. Okay. I am so sorry I do not know how to say this, but Femi Arborisad. I'm sorry. How could we give ourselves a boot camp on underwriting deals? So I would hop on LoopNet and Crexy, and they have deals on there. It's a place that you can go and find deals as well as find brokers to call. And I would practice underwriting on those deals and figure out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. We're also planning to do an underwriting workshop here in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But that's what I would do. I'd go practice, get different courses and stuff like that.
I think we
KJ,
already went over that. We already touched that.
brokers.
Yes.
Brokers.
Oscar, you want to take this one?
George says, do all 6 of you operate as partners on all deals, or does each couple do those own deals? So we all operate as 6 as partners. We are JBM Legacy. So that's pretty much it. We all operate together. So if we were to work on a deal, we bring it as a team and we do it together. And George, to be realistic with you, we wouldn't want to do the deals by ourselves anyway. Like, it's a team sport. Like, if we were to bring a deal, like say someone brought me a deal, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna be up front and be like, look, this is my team, which they are. They're my team, right? This is a team, and we're gonna do it together because I don't want to do this by myself. It's too much work. Why would you do it anyway by yourself? It's a team sport. You would want to have people help you out on the deals.
If you do it by yourself, you're the landlord. You're not the owner.
It's a job.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
What's a good question? I think we already touched on that, but just in case, to syndicate means to pool a bunch of investors into the deal rather than buying it with you and your team. Syndicating is raising money from other people to buy it.
In a nutshell, yeah.
In a nutshell, yeah. It's a lot more than that. When doing underwriting on a deal, do you guys use the cap rate found in Google for the area or the cap rate that the broker of the listing uses for their underwriting? Really
What
good
a great
question,
David.
Really good question.
I think that's using the cap rate that the broker listed.
That's probably their asking cap rate.
I know, Carolyn. I was thinking the same thing, Carolyn.
No, we don't want that cap rate.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Whatever the broker tells you, I really wouldn't trust as far as the OM, the offering memoranda, and the cap rate. All of that is a bunch of fluff, right? To make it sound good. That's them trying to sell the property to you. I would go do your own due diligence, call another unbiased broker. If you don't know the area very well, figure out what kind of market cap rates there are for that asset class in the area. Or you could call property management companies, do the same thing, and see what they're seeing for that asset class in that market. But yeah, I would not trust what they give. Like, for example, I saw one say that it was at what was it? Like a set. They sent me a property that was at 1% asking cap rate, and I know for me in that market, the cap rate is closer to a 4 or 4.5, and they're sending it to me at 1.
So what does that mean?
It means it's way overpriced. It's way overpriced.
So if the cap rate they're giving you is a low number, that means their asking price is higher than what it should be, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And if the cap rate's higher than what the market cap rate is, then it's a good deal.
I want to, if it is a value add property, something that I'm buying as like a fixer upper or something that I have to put work into it, it should be a higher number than the market cap rate. The cap rate I'm buying should be a higher number than the market cap rate at sale. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that.
I followed, so you're doing good.
all my visionaries out there, she's rooting for you guys. So I'm sorry. I'm straightforward to the point. This is the answer. There's not a lot of fluff to it. All right. How much reserves do you all consider in each of your deals for your? And you must be underwriting a lot of deals, David.
I was like, this is a Joseph question. I don't even know. I have no clue.
It really kind of just depends on what kind of asset class you. If you have really, really high expenses, I would budget a little bit more. If you have lower expenses, I'll budget a little bit less. Kind of consider that to what property you're looking at. But I typically just start off with anywhere from 250 to 1,000 per unit, and and if it's just like operating reserves, we just do it's 250 a unit, and I think that's per month annualized.
Damn, David, bringing in the fire questions.
For real.
You must be underwriting a lot of deals, man. That's good. Here we go. You guys want to answer that one?
Dennis says, have you guys bought any low-income housing communities? No, Dennis, we have not. There's deals that come across our desk before that have like assisted government like housing or like Section 8 or Section, what is it? Section 8 or Section 7? I can't even think.
There's a bunch of them. Section 8 is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and a bunch of other assisted programs that come across our desk. It's not that we don't look at them. It's just that at the moment we're focused on the deals that we need to get just because of the upside that we're looking for. So, for example, if we were to get something that has like assisted housing or government owned or whatever, sometimes they regulate the prices for the rent, how much you can increase it. And so that for us would not necessarily fit our business model at the moment because we need to be at a certain upside that we're looking for in the deal. So for us, Dennis, we'd have to pass on it for now. Maybe in the future, we'll take a look at it.
David Sierra, man, another underwriting question. What are you guys seeing for total rehab costs per units? General rule of thumb, 10K per unit is complete, like start over. Like it's like from scratch. It's a really, really needs a lot of work. 10K per unit. So 5K is like 5 to 6K is your standard. Like it doesn't look that bad, but I want to make sure it looks nice, and I want to get it up to Class A, B+ conditions. And if it's like an A, I would budget maybe 1,000 or 2 just to be sure that you had some spending money.
And that goes across all classes? It's not from like a Class C to a Class B?
No. I mean, because it's really how much work. It kind of does, right? Because it's how much work you're trying to put into each unit to get it up to a certain point, right? So I guess on ballpark, when I see a Class C, it's anywhere like 5 to 10, right? If it's a Class
it depends for really sure. Because one of the deals, the one we did in Tennessee, right? I'll use that as an example. We're budgeting, I think, 5K per unit on that deal, right, Joseph? 5K per unit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5K per unit, and that is what that market calls for, right? It's not going to call for granite countertops or like all these nice backsplashes. It's a Class C, so it's going to call for your refinish, or what do you call it? The kitchen countertops and all that kind of stuff. Painted cabinets, new flooring and paint. Basically, that's it. It's kind of like a lipstick kind of, but that's what the market calls for. Now, if you're going for a heavier lift, Class C value add, then yeah, you might need like 10,000 per unit, or you might need 15,000 per unit, depending on how bad it is. But that's kind of what you're looking at, David, is look at what the market calls for in that area for your asset class, and then budget accordingly. And that's how I would say that's how you would budget your rehab cost.
Always be more conservative. Mm-hmm. It's better to be pleasantly surprised than unpleasantly surprised. That's a good one too, from Jason Johnson. What's a great way to vet lenders for getting a loan for a down payment for a deal?
Ooh.
I think the question is what's a way to vet lenders? like the different lenders? That's what I'm getting from the question.
It sounds like a KP or no, for a loan for a down payment. I guess like getting a private money lender.
Clarification.
Clarification, definitely.
Good question, but clarification.
One second, I'm trying to see if you can respond. So, man, I guess not. We'll have to pick it up. All right, let's go to the next one. Well, I'll answer what I think it is. You're asking.
He says private lender.
If they give you money on the time that you need it, then I mean you got the money, right? I would if you haven't dealt with them before, I would take it as a soft commitment and have a backup plan in case they don't perform. It's really, are they going to bring the money or are they not going to bring the money? You know what I mean? So do your best judgment, and if you feel shaky about it, have backup plans. I suggest you have backup people anyways.
And really, like, this is a relationship that you're going to have for a good amount of time. Yeah, it's a down payment, sure, but I would hope or assume that you would want this relationship to keep going, right? Like, even if it's just for a down payment, what are they going to do for your next deal? Like, are they going to be that type of person to roll into a future deal? So don't just grab any Joe Schmo off the street just because they have money. If they have money, fantastic, and they can perform, fantastic, but you also want them to like align with what your mission is and what you're doing. That's my extra 2 cents.
Keith Konek, how do you structure deal payouts for your investors? Do you have a general outline? Great question. You guys want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. How do you structure deal payouts for your investors? So, okay, so it depends on how you structure the deal, right? Typically, when you do a syndication, your models are what you normally see is a 70-30 or 80-20 split, meaning that the lesser percentage is typically the people who are managing the property, otherwise known as the general partners, and the majority of the equity goes to your limited partners, the ones who are just investing in the deal and they're passive. They have no role on it. They're just putting in money and you give them a return. That return is typically done and handled on a quarterly basis to your investors, and depends on the deal. Like, what is it that you are giving your investors, right? What kind of returns are they looking at? What kind of cash on cash are they looking at? So the general outline for us and what you see typically out there is a quarterly return for your investors. Hope that helps, Keith. All right. Brandon says, can you share how you went from 0 to 70 units in 7 months? What were your daily habits?
Aww.
I think the ladies should take this one.
I was thinking that too.
It's actually a topic I have separated for its own YouTube channel, but we can
Its own YouTube channel.
Oh, not YouTube channel, but like. Yeah, no.
We're about to go to town on this topic.
I meant like its own like video.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of
people
giving you a hard time. But you can start on it, Carolyn.
Okay, so we all started probably at the very end, maybe in April, but we came back from Clever and then we finally started getting our butts together, and then it was probably May. So preliminary, it was a lot of trial and error, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are figuring out and doing. We had meetings every day, and then we finally I think a couple weeks in, we had a initial serious meeting of what do we want to do. We figured out our roles. We figured out who wants to, the visionaries and the integrators, and stick to those things. Our habits were showing up every single day. Our habits were putting in the reps every single day of calling brokers, or in the very beginning process was finding some wholesalers and going through Facebook groups and learning the ropes through that process. And like, truly, for me, it broke down to like showing up pretty much every single day. We all have lives outside of this and everything, but we're in communication every single day. We all do this full time. And I know that may not be the case for all of you who are looking to build teams, but like that communication and transparency and being able to have like hard, difficult conversations is the backbone of having this team. KJ, what else you got? I'm going to cook up some other thoughts too.
Yeah, that was good. I think, yeah. I mean, so when we were doing single family and I couldn't see the end in sight, I was like, how am I gonna have financial freedom? Like that's everybody's goal. I couldn't see that with single family. So because of that, it was really hard for me to be motivated to work or want to show up and do things. So when we switched to multifamily and I could see it being attainable and like, hey, like we can actually do this and make, life-changing things happen with our team and our family. It was easy to show up every day. Like some nights, I mean, we're doing this live, we'll probably do it for like 2 hours and we'll be on till 10 o'clock. And like sometimes we'll be working late at night. Like all day yesterday, I was working. I know Ione stays up late. Like Joseph and Ione are not morning people, right? But then they stay up. They stay up and work later in the night or pick up slack. So it's just like I think like Carolyn said, like transparency and communication. Like we all have different strengths and weaknesses and we figured that out. Like we didn't wake up one day and say, hey, this is your role. We didn't even know what roles were supposed to be roles. We were like, what do we do? I don't know. And so then we're like, okay, well, I guess let's figure this out together. And that's kind of what we did. We just figured it out. And then as we learned, we made mistakes. And then we would sit down and be like, okay, how can we divide this up and like divide and conquer instead of everybody working on one thing at the same time? So it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to build a team and be like, okay, everybody's got their SOPs in order, right? Everybody knows what they're doing. You've got a boss and it's not like that. You're going to have your hiccups. You're going to have to figure out if you even mesh well together. Like there's going to be a lot of growing pains. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but I mean, that's part of it. So you want to make sure you're with people that you love and trust and enjoy being around, and just expect that it's for the long haul. Like we are still doing single family and other things on the side to make money because yeah, we own 70 units now, but like we still have to go raise the rents. We still have to do a bunch of other things like to get that money. Like that money that we get from selling these properties are going to be years from now. So you have to understand you're planting seeds, and seeds don't grow into a tree overnight. It's going to take time, and you have to have that mentality and be ready for it, because if you're impatient and you think this is a get rich quick, like you're in the wrong industry.
Yeah.
Well said. Virginia Drew, did you get your first deal under contract before looking for investors?
Yep.
I think Oscar should ask this one.
Carolyn got it. Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did.
We didn't let that stop us.
Don't let it stop you. Don't get analysis, or what is it? Analysis paralysis or whatever. Yeah, don't let that stop you, Virginia. I mean, we were focused, we were driven, and we talked about it. We said, hey, this is what we're looking for. Once we got the deal and we structured it, and again, you should be looking for, like, if we could go back, we'd be doing it simultaneously for sure. And that's what we do now. But if the deal is good, the money will come for sure. And that deal was really good that the money definitely came. And it came quick.
And flooding it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think if you're talking about doing this in a multifamily, how to remove seller from LLC in Morby method or seller finance after I pay off the loan. Well, so you can't do a sub 2. I wouldn't try to do a sub 2 in multifamily. It just wouldn't do it. They have some loans that are assumable, and you can just assume those. Yeah, it's a much bigger process. You have to go and get a key principal or sign on the loan yourself, and it's a lot involved. But that's what I would do: either assume the loan, or you're doing cash and seller finance, and you're paying off the existing loan, and they're seller financing you the equity. So in the seller finance, the seller holds the note. So there is no bank or anybody else you have to pay off other than the seller. So once the seller's paid off, I mean, he's paid off. He's out of it. You can go and refinance him out if you want to get another debt, or you can continue making the payments and just until he's paid off. That's how a seller finance would work on it. I'm looking for another one.
I know there's so much in here.
All right. Bo says, how do you guys feel about CD buildings / neighborhoods? Does the area outweigh the money upside amount?
Yes. That's the short answer.
Location, location, location.
Yeah. It's all about location. You still want to have properties in good locations. If it's low income, that's not, bad. But if it's like a war zone and, a bunch of drugs and gangs and all this stuff happening in areas nearby or at the property, it's not.
Whoa.
I would want
Oh
to be.
my God.
Guys, we are blessed to have Myron here. Guys, put some fires in the chat for Myron, guys. He is here.
Oh.
He must have heard seller finance from like a mile away.
Lift it out.
What's going on, you guys? Babies are going to bed. So I pulled Carolyn away to say goodnight to them. So
Oh,
look how many people we have on here. What in the world?
isn't it crazy?
Insane. I'm sorry to interrupt. Y'all keep going.
You're good. You're good.
No,
Everyone
you're good,
wish a happy early birthday to the birthday boy here. His
So,
birthday tomorrow. He's turning 21 tomorrow.
21.
it looks like it too, man.
I know.
Looking fresh, Myron.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you. What are y'all talking about?
Well, we're on this one now. How does the team determine the percentage of the asset management fee? Guess and check, really. I mean, I want to pay as much as I can to myself, but I still want my returns to look good. So that's what I was saying earlier. You play around with it till your returns look good, and then once they do, you make them look even better for your investors and yourself. That's how we determine it.
Do you guys deal with Gator Lender?
Mr. Phillips, yes, we do. We do. The short answer is yes. If you are a Gator lender yourself, Myron and I would love to talk to you. Contact us and let's book an appointment.
Have your people call our people.
Who's on the?
Well, it's because we're
Okay.
answering questions.
Amanda, good to see you. I spoke to Amanda earlier today. How does one get started in multifamily, particularly with no money? Where would you recommend starting? Ooh, who wants to answer this one?
We
Myron.
don't have any money.
Myron, yeah, Myron's got me.
I know, put him on the spot.
He
He just left.
He's like, please. No.
He's like,
Amanda, your question scared him off, Amanda.
I know. It wasn't even that crazy.
How does one get started in multifamily with no money?
That's the question, Myron.
Bring the money.
Are y'all asking me to answer
Find
this?
a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all you, brother.
Oh,
Put you
sorry
on the
about
spot,
that.
bro.
This is easy. Amanda, this is easy. Go to LoopNet. Where are you? What city do you live in? What state are you in? Find us a deal. Go on LoopNet, go on Crexy. Go find us a deal. Get the broker on the phone and ask him, hey, would you sell or finance this to me? And just find it.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
Find us a deal. And Orlando, we love Orlando. That's a strong market. There are a lot of great people in Orlando. So There's a lot of Airbnb out there, but yeah, I would say just to get started, you got to, we have a lot of great material on our Facebook group, our YouTube channel. You're on our YouTube channel right now, so I hope, right? Yeah.
she's on.
So like, go back and look at some of the broker calls that we've done. Look at some of the stuff we have to help you get started. Then we talked about that several times, but the no money thing, that is not.
Doesn't stop us.
That's not a wall.
Mhm.
That's just that's a mindset thing that you just have to get past.
We all did it with no money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all did it with no money. Yeah.
So if you find a great deal, find a deal, come to us. We'll help you structure it. We'll help you close it, and we'll get cash flow.
Absolutely. You can do it with no money. We're still on that like dollar upside part. We're still needing to hit our million. So
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
it's coming. It's coming.
I got another one for you, Myron. What was your most effective form of marketing to raise capital when first getting started?
This one was, we solely landed on our the people in our phone, people that we already had connections with that we knew were interested. And some of this stuff, when we got started, we just started doing YouTube stuff and Zooms, and we connected with people. People start coming to us and saying, hey, I have capital, but it was really just landing on people that we knew. And the coolest thing is when we started pitching a deal that didn't make sense at first, they started giving us feedback, and we were able to kind of lean on them and say, hey, like, what would this look like for you? How would it make sense for you the most? And they gave us really great, honest feedback, and starting with people that you know. But then I went to a little raising private capital event, and they taught me some things. I brought it to the team. We did a Zoom on it, or a YouTube live. I can't remember. I said, y'all just get out your phone and start texting everybody that you know. Just everybody, your family, your friend, your doctor, the guy who mows your lawn, the guy at Home Depot, whatever it is. You start telling them what you're doing, and you're going to figure out that people who you didn't think had money have money.
Yep. Really, like he said earlier, I'm trying to look at the Facebook to see who actually posted this, but like, go with that. What was I saying? Marketing, just literally talking about what you're doing, putting yourself out there, just putting yourself out there and showing what you're doing. That's literally what we've been doing the past 7 months. Do you know how many times we've failed and stumbled and made mistakes, and we're still doing that? Like, we're still learning so much. We're by no means experts yet. We're learning a ton, but you got to show people what you're doing for people to there's 84 people on here plus right now. Like, how do you think we got that? Like, I'm tooting our own horn a little bit right now, but like, we did that just by marketing ourselves. We're walking you through this journey. What is it? That's the best brand you can ever build. Use your name, market yourself. It will come.
It was James Marcos, by the way, or Jamie Marcos. Sorry.
Market yourself.
Do you all manually napkin underwrite or use an analyzer? I always napkin underwrite first. I like when they napkin underwrite too when they first get it. When you do that, it's much faster, and then you put it in the analyzer sheet, because the napkin underwrite is this worth my time? That's all it is.
Yeah. If you go into the featured tab in our Facebook group, there's a thing pinned with multifamily formulas, and you can go in, and we have problems that I already basically color coded and examples and things you can practice solving, and it has formulas for you to follow if you need help with underwriting.
yeah, if you're trying to learn how to underwrite, I would go start there. Definitely. See Zach in the chat.
What's up, Zach?
Jason Johnson. Can this be done while you work a full-time job?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We've
Absolutely.
got plenty of other teams that are doing this while having a full-time job.
Mhm.
I think it's mindset and really time blocking, like what's important to you. Because everyone, yeah.
I'll also add, Jason, that you don't want to do this alone. Find yourself partners who can help you with it. I mean, there's people who have money but don't have time, and there's people who have time but don't have money.
Yep.
Right? So find those people who maybe are doing this full time, and you guys can leverage each other, and they're the ones looking at deals full time. And then when you have time, you can contribute as well. So it keeps on going. So it's a team sport, Jason. Find yourself a team or be part of a team and get that thing going. Don't do it yourself.
Yeah. I just had a conversation with a woman this morning. She works full-time in finance, and she just teamed up with 2 other people to start doing more multifamily focused things. She's an integrator, so she's going to dedicate time outside of her full-time job, outside of her family, to start the process. And yeah, the mindset going into it is that is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight regardless, but like you have to have that intention that you're going to have a process to go through, especially being in a 9-to-5 job. But it will come. Start small. Cool. What in the world?
When are we hosting our local events? Guys, when are we having that first event? If y'all are in the
ASAP.
Dallas or the Houston areas, let us know. When do y'all want to have that event? Let us know.
Before the baby gets here, please.
Yeah,
So in the next month.
like this month.
That way I can go.
And probably Dallas, because most of the team's in Dallas or
I know.
Houston. If you want to come out to Houston.
What duty does everybody have?
Oh,
That's a good question. I think
love that.
girls should start off.
Me and KJ. She's in that corner over there. We are the face. We are the front half. We do outreach to brokers. We do outreach to sellers. We do investor relationships. We do a hell of a lot of social media. Slide decks. Well, that's kind of in the process, but like a lot of social media marketing, broker outreach. What am I missing? Capital raising. What else, KJ?
Just relationships, really.
Overall support.
Yeah. No, you covered
you distracted me with that one.
You covered it.
Yeah, so that's what they do. Myself and Ione, we underwrite the deals that come in. We also, once we have the properties, I do asset management as well, heavy in asset management, dealing with the property manager, looking at leasing, accounting, bunch of things fall under that umbrella. I also talk to lenders because that's necessary for underwriting. If you're doing a cash or traditional or conventional deal, you need lenders. So you got to have good relationships with those people. And yeah, overall support as well. And then Oscar, Myron.
And then Myron and myself work very closely together where we do raising capital and deal structures. So anything that has to do with due diligence or even before that, structuring the deal, legal or contracts, whatever it may be, Myron and I are there to handle all that work to get it across the finish line. And even after that, we still keep the relationships with our investors as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. That's like very surface level. It gets very nitty gritty into everything, but that's high level what we do.
Anything seller finance goes directly to him.
Send it all. We love seller finance. Guys, our goal is 1,000 units by this coming July, and we're going to get there. I know we're going to get there. So I would rather get there with all creative finance deals. How cool would that be, right?
Hell
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
We're going to.
Help us achieve that goal. That would be awesome. It doesn't have to be seller finance. Wouldn't it be so cool to say that? I think
Yeah, we're getting there. Let's do it.
Rob Sema, what do you do when the T12 is using gross potential rents instead of actual? Typically, when they use gross potential rent, they also have like vacancies or concessions somewhere below it, and it'll usually look for the section that just says total income, total other income, total rental income. Look for those sections and look from there for your analyzer. If you got a good deal, is it better to have a broker represent you to get the deal closed? What do y'all think, guys?
I say yes. Well, depends. If
I
it's direct to
say get out of my
seller,
way.
if
I was
it's
thinking
direct to
what
seller,
Myron said.
If there's a way to do it without the broker, why not, right? If there's, because sometimes there's multiple brokers involved. There is nothing wrong with doing a broker. If you have a really good broker like our homeboys, Zach and Carrie, I have no problem partnering. I want them on the deal because I trust them and I want them in deals with us, right? But there's other brokers out there that are just they're lazy. They really don't do a lot to help you get the deal, right? I'm sure KJ can talk all about. I mean, what do you think? I'm not talking to them. What do you guys think? I
Some of them
that's why we talk to a very, very, very select few.
Well, even some of the few that like I was first rooting for are like kind of getting a little lazy, and I'm like, what am I paying you for? Like, are you just forwarding me the email from the listing broker, and now I'm having the conversation with the listing broker and just CCing you? Skirt. No need to pay you.
She said skirt.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna pay you. It's just like with the wholesalers. It's like, if you're just emailing me financials, what value did you bring to me? Like, really? Like, I can pay you a little referral fee maybe, but don't expect like a percentage of the deal for doing that when I have to go and follow up with the lead broker, when I have to ask the questions that I've asked you already to ask the broker, when I have to make phone calls and follow up. That's when I'm like, okay, why am I paying you? So I think have your standards set, and like just set the bar high and say, these are my expectations. This is what I need from you. This is what I expect. You know, this is me talking to myself because I should have done that. So now I'm having to retrain them. Like, these brokers work for you. Remember that. You hold the prize. You are the buyer. They need you more than you need them, especially in this market. So don't let them bully you, and like, don't let them like slack off. If they want to get paid, they got to work for it.
Well said. Haley Holmes, are sites like Crexy reliable for cap rate and other metrics? Quick answer, I would say there's lots of resources out there. I think the best is the people that are truly in the market doing it and what they're seeing on their actual returns. Like I said, the property managers and other unbiased brokers, what are they seeing for cap rates? But there's sites like Crexy and CoStar is a pretty good one. We got paid for it. It's always better for the people that are actually doing it. The sites are generalized, and you want to be in that specific market.
Hey, I want to ask a question before we do.
Do it.
Peter's our guy, right? But just real quick. What is everybody struggling with right now? Are you struggling with, in the chat, are you struggling with underwriting, raising capital, finding the deal, structuring, what to do? What are you all struggling with right now? I want to just get a head count, what it's looking like.
Okay. Sound off in the chats while we answer this question.
What
Yeah.
are you struggling with the most?
Okay.
Blow it up.
Sorry, I lost it for a second.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Peter says, how much money you need for 100 units? What amounts are you raising with your investor/partners? What part raised by a bank? Or you trying to get all cash for the first years? Man, there's a lot in that question. And here's the answer. Every deal is different. It really is, guys. I mean, I don't know how else to answer it other than that. Every single deal is going to be different, and it's based on what your underwriting looks like.
Yeah,
Break it
Peter.
down.
What's up, Peter? So how much money you need for 100 units? It depends on what the deal's asking for, right? If it's like 100 units on seller finance, then really all you're going to need is probably your down payment and capex and closing costs, somewhere around there, right? So you're just going to need a portion of that, and then you finance the rest on seller finance. Now, if it's a traditional loan, like a commercial loan or whatever, then you're still going to need a down payment. You're still going to need the closing cost and maybe some other things up front as well. So typically what you're looking at is a down payment. And if it's a value add, you're looking for your renovation cost, your closing cost, and anything in between there that might be upfront, like legal, if it's syndication, or maybe inspections and third party reports and stuff like that. So that's kind of what you're looking for as far as raising some money up front. But you have to underwrite the deal to understand what kind of money you're raising first, right? So if you're going to go to a lender or a bank, they're going to give you their terms, right? Like they're going to say, I want 20% down and we'll finance the rest, or something like that. Then now you know you need to go get 20% of the down payment plus whatever else. If they don't finance the renovations, then you have to go raise that renovation money as well, right? So are you trying to get all cash for the first years? I'm not sure I understand that question. Is it like cash for the deal? Peter, we come from and I'm sure you do, I think you're sub two as well. We come from a creative finance background. So, for us, it's the least amount of money we can get into a deal, the better. We love seller finance, but it doesn't mean we can't structure a traditional one. It's just that the market doesn't call for a lot of these deals to be, they don't underwrite with current debt. So we have to get creative with it. Hope that answers your question. And it's not hard money. I saw your response. We don't use hard money for renovation projects. It's typically it's a bridge loan. It's kind of like hard money, but it's typically from 2 to 3 years, and it's interest only for those 2 to 3 years. And you can have extensions if you need them. But what you do is you typically either sell after the 2 to 3 years for your exit, or you refinance into a longer term loan to continue holding that asset.
Love it.
Nice answer.
It really was.
Thank
you. Myron?
Yeah.
Oh,
Simon asks, is that you want me to go to the next question, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys doing multifamily deals sub 2, seller finance, traditional lending, all of the above? What are you doing? I bet we could do a really small one sub 2, but the level that we want to be at, we wouldn't do sub 2. We'd do we can actually assume those loans. A lot of commercial loans we can assume, which means we'd have to apply for that loan, right? Apply for that existing loan.
And that's where our key principal would come in?
Correct. Yep. So, we'd have to get a key principal that would qualify for the, what's it called?
For the loan amount.
For the loan amount, they'd have to have net worth and all that stuff. So that would kind of fall into our traditional lending as well, but y'all, we're not going to go apply for a loan. I don't think that's even the season we're in where we're even going to look that way. It would be assuming the loan. Or your second question was seller finance. Yes. This is going to happen a lot right now because what I'm like, water cooler talk. I'm hearing a lot of people are trying to jump out. They're jumping out, and people might do seller finance, right? They're ready to liquidate because they're saying, oh, things are going to start getting tougher to sell. If I get out now, I'm saving my own butt. And that's where we come in, we swoop in, and we get creative deals, right? So Simon, I think we're very strategic in what we're doing. We're looking for certain type of deals. Every couple months, we're narrowing down our buy box even more. And I really suggest you do the same thing.
What is the,
Just
I
add
want
in-
to ask a question for those who don't know or understand. Why do you not do sub 2 with these bigger deals?
So I would honestly, I think the commercial loans, I would be watching that stuff like a hawk. You know, a multi-million-dollar loan that I have out, I want to know it's performing, and something happens, I'll know, right? So I wouldn't want to take something over subject. I wouldn't want to do it myself. Having that loan be called due while we're in the middle of renovation would, I don't know what I would do, right? Where a smaller asset, you know, something that's $500,000, we could figure that out a lot quicker than $5 million. But that's my thought process on it. I don't know if it's right or wrong.
No, I'd agree with that, and you're definitely right, because the lenders, like for example, if you have a mixed use property and you have retail space, right? They have to approve the tenants that get put into there and some of these loans, right? So if they're having to approve, like they're obviously more involved than a regular residential lender. So it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, I look at them as cash when we're looking at these deals to see if it works, and none of them have been working. Like it's very rare that any of them work. Only the seller finance ones are really looking juicy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Guys,
Derek says, do you think partners should all live in the same area when building a team? Oh, great question. I think everybody knows the answer to this.
I think it's better.
KJ, Joseph, tell them where you guys were living before whenever we assembled.
We were in Arizona before. Now we're in Houston, but I think it's better because now it's like divide and conquer, right? So like when there's properties in Dallas, the other half of the team goes. When there's properties in Houston, we go. And it's like, instead of everybody being in one spot, like we can cover more area, or like you can have boots on the ground in other areas and have somebody on your team that's boots on the ground rather than having to bring in a stranger. So I actually think it's beneficial to have people on your team in different areas.
Agreed.
For sure.
I mean, that's how we have a deal in Tennessee, right? We have a
Yeah.
boots on the ground in Tennessee. Otherwise, we would, if it was just us, right, we would not want to buy that. It's too much work to fly out there all the time. Like in the early days, you have to be there like every day, at least multiple times throughout the week. Okay.
Real places. Are you all doing syndications? If so, can you please briefly walk through the steps that have to be accomplished? Are we all doing syndications? The first few deals we've done have all been seller finance, so we have not done a syndication. Have we structured a deal and underwritten a deal in the syndication model? Yes. And do we have people that also know how to do it behind our corner? Yes, we do. One of our partners in the Tennessee deal, that's how they structure their deals, through syndications.
Yeah, I got one. Oh, sorry.
So it says, if so, can you please briefly walk through the steps that have to be accomplished? So the steps would be get an attorney. The steps would be find yourself an attorney who's a syndication attorney, and they will walk you through everything. I promise you. You want to do an attorney anyway. It involves legal stuff. We ourselves are not attorneys. I'll say this again. We're not attorneys, CPAs, or financial advisors. When we syndicate a deal, yeah, we do know some of the ins and outs, but it's all legal, and there has to be some filings and requirements through the SEC and all this other stuff. go talk to an attorney to do this. Do not try to do it yourself, nor would I recommend it. Go find an attorney and they'll help you do it. That's the short and simple answer.
Beautiful. I got one for KJ. Let's see. We can just answer for. When you are contacting brokers, what questions are you asking upfront about the property, and do you immediately ask for T12 rent rolls and P&L? Definitely. On the second part. Definitely.
Can I answer this question?
Yes.
Okay. So when you are contacting brokers, what questions are you asking up front about the property? And do you immediately ask for T12 rent rolls and P&I? So I talked to a broker today my mission, Facebook user, whoever you are, is to be on the phone with the broker for a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes. That's it on my initial phone call. And I'm there on a mission. I'm there to ask about the property, to tell them about who we are, and then get the financials. I want the T12, the rent roll, and maybe the OM if I need it. But I'm just there quick and easy. I want those details so I can then hand it off to the underwriter to find out if it's a deal or not. And if it is, I will continue to follow up with them on that deal. But I also want to build that relationship continuously afterward. Even if it doesn't make sense for us, I still want to talk to that broker because I want to be able to build that relationship so they can send us more deals in the future. And that's what KJ and Carolyn do so well. So that would be my answer. Is I'm there on a mission. I'm going to get that stuff and I'm out. Next broker.
Well said. Effie says, did you all start at about the same point on the learning curve, or were one or two of you experienced already? Well, KJ and I were the last to jump on the train. She had reached out to Oscar, actually, and we knew nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oscar and Ione and Myron and Carolyn had been doing it for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, something like that before we had reached out. And other than that, we were pretty much on the same playing field. They definitely had more experience than us. But I mean, you can learn a lot in 3 months, guys. Let me tell you, you can learn a lot. So that's how it was. I mean, we were pretty early into it, all of us. But yeah, they were a few months ahead of us. And look, man, that few months helped our learning curve a lot. Sorry, not a question. 1 second, guys. Here we go. Jace P. Did you guys find a sponsor on your first deals?
Myron, this is your question, bro.
It is. It is.
Yes, Jace, we did. The cool thing about doing creative deals, how we're doing them, is it creates a lot of buzz, in my opinion. It creates some excitement. And so actually after our first deal, Oscar, remember when we closed the 30 unit, how many people came to us and said, hey, when you get your next one, let me sponsor it. Right?
Yep.
And so what I think is really cool is like, Jace, like, get a sponsor. The thing is, like, when you're first starting out, let's say you have to raise even, let me say $500,000. You're going to raise $500,000 because you need a down payment or something like that. Now you're going to raise $500,000, but like, how many units do you have currently? Jace, I don't know you, but do you have 1,000 units already where I could confidently give you $500,000 and I don't think you're going to mess up your first deal? I guess it wouldn't be your first deal if you had 1,000 units, but what I'm trying to say. So get a sponsor, that's another thing you kind of have to raise, get your network spread out about finding deals like brokers, sellers, whatever it is, capital and GPs, a sponsor. Get someone or KP, get someone to run the deal, because you need some great people behind you knowing what to do. You know, when I want to say the bad word, but when the S hits the fan, like you got to lean on that person, right? So go and get get your Rolodex full of key principles as well. Jace. Yes.
Julie, what's up, Julie? Julie says, so when do you figure out the amounts for rehab? Is this done during due diligence or before LOI submitted? Joseph, that's you, bro.
So typically you get an OM, an offering memorandum. And in this offering memorandum, if it's a value add, it will typically show how much they're estimating for rehab, or the property may have already started some rehab. You can ask them how much they're budgeting per unit. And that will usually give you a ballpark based on what they're like. Obviously, you want to see one of those units. What does it look like, or what have you all done to it? Do you have pictures? And compare that to what you plan to do to it, as well as compare the price they put into that. Right. So if they say, oh, we're spending about $2,000 a unit, but their renovated or fixed up units really don't look that great compared to this, what you're trying to make it look like. So maybe you might want to bump it up another 3,000-4,000 to get it to where you really want it to be. Right. So you can do that. You could also call other. I would just do that. That's the easiest way. Just do that. You can try using the OM, but like I said, it's a bunch of fluff. So the best way is to ask what they're already doing and be more conservative. Let's just leave it at that. And it's done before due diligence. I would want to have that underwriting complete so I can send my LOI, so I can figure out what it is. So before due diligence, before LOI. Yes.
So I'm gonna have a conversation real quick. What do people need? And I saw underwriting more than a couple times, and that's like the biggest crux in my opinion, is like, how do I know if I have a deal? But I also saw a couple people just saying finding a deal. Did you all read those responses? What do y'all think about what they're saying?
I have not seen them because I'll lose my place if I scroll.
It's just right there. It's just at 9:06 p.m.
Yeah, finding a deal, underwriting, finding a deal, structuring, raising capital, underwriting, finding a deal. Yeah, there's a lot of them that say finding a deal. I mean, do you guys remember when we were the same way and looking for a deal? We were just trying to find a deal.
Absolutely.
What did we do?
Took wholesalers, trash deals, 3% buyer's fees, bad financials. And we didn't even know
action. That's what we did. We took imperfect action and just moved forward through all the scrapes and bruises along the way. Honestly, that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we paid to speed up that learning curve and have someone to teach us. And honestly, the biggest thing is we took action. We just made moves and kept doing it every single day. And we're still doing it. And this is the result, and the fruits are still yet to come, right? So it's a long, like KJ said earlier, this is a long-term play. This is not a quick get rich quick. It's not.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember.
What were you trying to say, Myron?
Well, I just want to have a conversation about that. Like, see what people are saying. And I think, the essence of what we're trying to do is help people, right? We want to help people take action. Like Joseph is saying, just take action, right? And what does that even mean? We just said, okay, well, how can we find a deal? We went and talked to wholesalers, and then we put our butts in the seat and called brokers. and started doing lives, started talking. I think the biggest thing is we started telling others what we wanted. Like, figure out your buy box and just start telling people your buy box.
Mhm.
And this, I truly believe in this. When you speak something, you speak it into existence, it will eventually start finding its way to you. And so the people who are saying finding a deal, are you telling people what you want? Are you talking to brokers? Are you going on LoopNet? I applaud people who come on here and just start, cutting it up in the chat and trying to work with other people. I love it. Raising capital I think is tricky because you got to be in the right room. Finding a dedicated team. I mean, being here on this live, you should be saying, I'm looking at Chuck right now. I'm going to just bring him up there. Chuck says finding a dedicated team. And you just start speaking it. And I bet you can find a team in the next couple months. Amanda says underwriting.
Why you say it like that?
No,
Batman?
I just say like my scary voice, bro, like Batman.
I mean, that part for me is overwhelming. It's overwhelming when you start. I'm like, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a phone book. I'm trying to like decipher this thing.
I still feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're a lot better than we were, but I just want to like listen to these are our people. These are our people here, and part of our responsibility is to bring them, to help them, right? And people who are finding deals, how can I help? Like Julie Burkhart finding deals? Are you kidding me? She should be Scrooge McDuck swimming in these deals. Anyways,
are you really turning 21?
Oh, I had to age myself real quick. Yeah.
Sorry to take you off there, but I agree, man. I mean, y'all listening, this is why we do this. We were in your shoes. We've been there before, and we really do want to help ease that learning curve as much as possible. And I mean, that's why we do this. So Myron's absolutely right. So, and a lot of those things on there are in the feature tab of the Facebook group, as well as we have more content to put out. So just keep watching and taking action on what you hear. That's
subscribe to our channel. That's how you show some love.
And real quick, Michael Williams, I am going to start doing something soon that would do this, but this is not where we analyze deals. This is questions that you have pertaining to multifamily in general. But
reach out to us.
Stay tuned. Yeah, reach out. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay. And
references.
that was funny, man. Effie says, what was the fee for the mentorship on multifamily? Is that what made it all possible? Effie, I would say reach out to one of us directly and we could talk more about that. And I would say it definitely attributed to the learning curve by paying for the knowledge that we have learned. Not just one mentorship, but all of the mentorships that we have learned have helped us in our journey. And the best thing you can do is invest in yourself.
I was about to say, all of us collectively have spent over $100K to learn what we've learned, like over time. So if you guys are serious, like don't be afraid to put money into learning what you need to learn. Because like if you're not willing to put down some money to level yourself up, you're not serious.
I was having a conversation just earlier today about other masterminds and mentorships with Joseph. I said, there are bigger ones out there. They cost a lot of money, man. But when you put yourself in the right room, people who are doing bigger things, you yourself, what is that? Rising tide raises all boats or whatever that is, right? So like when you get into that other room, you're going to start bringing that your energy is going to change, right? When you're surrounding yourself with those people, and you're going to just, your mind is going to say, oh, this is what we do. And we can start doing bigger things. So I was talking to Joseph, like, no, like we have spent a lot of money on mentorships, but we're not done. We need to be in those other rooms because we're going to be doing bigger things. We need to surround ourselves with people who are doing bigger things.
Yeah.
More to come. Yeah.
Well said. I got a couple I can blow through, maybe like 2 or 3. Al, what internal tools do you use to communicate with the team? All we use within our team is Zoom and texting and email sometimes. That's pretty much it. We have a WhatsApp group with our other partners in our other deal, and Zoom for the other partners in the first deal. So
yeah, we pretty much hang out on Zoom on a virtual office, so it's not like I'm having to wait around a response. I just unmute and I'm like, hey, I need this or that. And then we have a Google Calendar, so then that way that we all see, so that way we can say, oh, I see Oscar's in a meeting or Myron's in a meeting, or that way you can see like what's going on with the team too. If for some reason you can't get a hold of them, you're like, oh, that's why they're busy. So that's kind of what we've been doing that works. That was a good question.
that was a good question. Here's the next one. It was another quick one. Where'd it go? David Sierra says, what is the average acquisition fee for a multifamily deal? Typically 1 to 3% of the purchase price. And I'm looking for lots of happy birthdays to Myron, by the way. Look at
Hey,
that.
love
HPD.
it.
I missed that. I'm sorry, you guys.
Sorry,
Thank you
there's-
so much.
Well, it took me a little longer to find a question. There's so many birthdays in there.
Love it.
Bang bang, let's go! I love it. Find a list of multifamily real estate brokers. AJ, where do you find a list of multifamily real estate brokers?
LoopNet. You can go on LoopNet. Me and Carolyn called over 500 brokers. So what we did, we go on LoopNet, you search the area that you want to search, make sure you specify multifamily and you search for brokers. And you're going to have to sift through a lot of trash and a lot of people who aren't actually doing anything, who do one deal a year maybe, people who are doing different kinds of multifamily that you don't want to do. So you have to call, and like it was brutal. I don't like doing that. Okay. Like being totally honest, I did not enjoy doing that. But I did it because I'm like, I have big goals. I got to get uncomfortable. I got to do things I don't want to do. But because of it, I don't have to do it anymore. They call me. So it's just like, if you think about it, you just have to do it for a short period of time. Get through it. Build up your list of brokers that you can rely on and that will bring you deals. And then like now I don't need to. We have a good solid list of brokers. So go through and you're just going to have to call them and find out what they're doing, and they're going to vet you, and you need to vet them, and you need to tell them, this is my goal. This is what I'm looking for. So if you guys don't have a goal, you need to sit down. I had to tell someone this the other day. You need to have a goal. And if you don't know anything and whatever, right? Like you don't know where to start. Well, like, where do you see yourself? Have a goal, set a date, make a plan. Like I tell people all the time, you can't have directions to go somewhere if you don't know where you're supposed to go. Like how are you supposed to put something in the GPS and have directions somewhere if you don't have an end destination? You're literally going to be driving all over the neighborhood, all over the highway, wasting time and energy, when if you had an end destination in sight already and you just put it in the map, right? It'll tell you a straight shot there. So you need to come up with a plan of what you want and then reverse engineer it of how you're going to get there. So we're going for 1,000 units by next July. So now when I'm talking to them, this is my goal. This is what I'm going after. Sorry, long-winded answer.
Good answer. Effie says, so are you doing all of your own management? Absolutely not. We hire property managers. We put that into our underwriting. We make sure that we could pay them and have payroll on the property. That's why we look for We were looking for a 40 plus. Now we do 100 plus, but we do that to make sure that there's enough meat on the bones to have them as an expense. We manage the managers. We don't want.
The question is, do you want to work in your business or on your business?
Exactly.
And I know the goal is not to be working in the business.
So Effie says, are you set on selling after 5 years? Why not hold it for long term? I imagine she's talking about which one, Corpus or Tennessee. Either way, it's into the underwriting. That's how we underwrote it, to get paid in a quick time. And it's not necessarily a property that we want to hold long term. That's why we would underwrite a 5-year sell. It's not like super sexy and nice. It's a quick flip and get out. Right? There's just different types of deals. And there is a lot of questions, so we're probably not going to get to all of them. So I want to try and go through them quickly. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Oscar, you answer that one. Why would we not buy our investors out and just keep it?
You can definitely do that. Depends on your exit strategy. For example, if you're wanting to buy out your investors in like refinance period, then you can do that if your exit can support it. Or if you just want to, like Joseph said, if your exit calls for you having to sell the property in order for you to pay off your investors, then you can do that too. It just depends on your exit, Effie. So you can definitely do that if you want to. Buy them out and keep it. There's nothing stopping you doing that as long as you have a great underwriting and a good exit strategy.
Yeah, well said. Derek Barton. So when one brings a deal to you and you already have your team, how do they fit in, or do they? Myron, you want to answer this one?
For Derek, I will. Okay. So he's going to bring me a deal. The first thing I would ask Derek is, are you boots on the ground for this deal? So this is where I have a crux, because I don't know if I have a cold heart or what. It's my problem. But Derek, if you're not boots on the ground, then you're just going to assign that thing to me. And I would expect you to probably do the same thing if somebody brings you a deal. But if you're sitting there like you go in walking distance from that property, I would love for you to be boots on the ground. And thank you for giving me a softball question. And I know you played professional baseball, so this is a nice softball question from you. I would say, to sum up, bring me a deal where you're boots on the ground. You can stay in it, most likely. Every single deal is going to be different. If you bring me a 30 unit, I'm probably just going to make you assign it to me. But I'll give you a good paycheck, Derek. I promise. Cool.
Well said. Chuck Russell, what type of analyzer do you use? Where can we find a good one? I use one that's part of the group that Oscar mentioned. If you want to find out more, reach out to them. There's other ones out there that are on the cheaper side, like Michael Blank's syndication analyzer. And then there's some on the higher end side that are upwards of $1,000. And I forgot the name of it. Real Data Pro, I think, it's something like that. There's a bunch of them out there. Just research which ones might make sense for you. And they typically come with like a tutorial, but they are a little pricey, but it is worth paying for. It's very important. You need an analyzer to do all this stuff. Okay, let's see. I'm looking. You want to answer that one real quick? What's the Facebook group?
There you go.
Boom. It's a banner at the bottom now. $1 million don't know what that question is asking. All these good numbers for these by just looking. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what you're asking. Maybe send a follow-up question at the end. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is what you're talking about. Are these good numbers? So right off the bat, I see 3% fee right there. So to me, that tells me that this is a wholesaler. sending this, and we don't like to necessarily deal with wholesalers with 3% fee, just because it's harder to get the information that we need. We want to be direct to the source so we can have control of the deal. It's just harder with wholesalers, and the fees make it make no sense. Sorry, that's tongue twister. Okay, there we go. There we go. How many investors are involved in each deal? This one's for you guys.
You got this, Myron.
So Effie's probably asking how many GP are in the deal. And so I'll answer it. You think so?
Yeah, how many GPs, how many LPs, and then explain.
As many LPs as it takes. GPs, it would be all 6 of us. We might have a boost on the what?
What's an LP and what's a GP?
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Thanks. Okay. Effie's going to ask how many investors are involved in each deal, and so I would say a GP would be a general partner, and that person is going to be the active members on the deal. So they're going to be doing asset management, all the things we've been talking about, raising capital, who found the deal, boots on the ground, things like that, right? And they're going to be the active members. So we may have, for our deal, it's going to be us 6, maybe a boots on the ground, and probably some kind of sponsor or key principal person that will help us out. LP side, which is a limited partner, they are passive. They don't have a say. They just collect their check, and they probably just ask questions and tell me what's going on in Dallas right now, right? So the passive members, it depends on the deal, Effie. So if you have a giant deal, you need to raise $300 million. You need to go figure out how many LPs you need to make that $300 million or whatever it is. So GP is general partner. So those are the active members on the group. I mean, it could be, Effie, it could be you and like 2 other people if you all wanted to just run it, real small group. But we like to do things together. So we've made like a GP table that says, hey, Myron is doing this, Oscar is doing this, so on and so on. And just defining our roles and the hardest thing I think is sticking to our roles right now, but we're sticking to our roles and, opening up spots where we need help. Okay. Cool. Is that Zach McQueen States? Okay, cool. What's up, bro?
Oh, here we go. Can you have a co-key principal like a co-signer? Yes, you can have as many as it takes. As long as the total net worth is equivalent or more or greater than the required loan amount that the loan you're applying for, the net worth needs to be equal or greater. So as many as it takes.
I thought it was cool, like Pace. I'm sure we all know who Pace Morby is, but he has a couple deals going on. And who did he bring in as a co-sponsor? Vina Jetty, right? So I don't think he could have, I'm not talking crap on him. I don't think he could have done it on his own. So he brought on a partner. And how smart to bring that person, to bring Vina on, right? Someone to help him run the deal, make sure the capital is raised properly, be strategic in who you pick, Mary. So yes, co-key principal. If you're a key principal and you need help on, let's say, the capital side, you know how to run the deal, but you just need someone to really help you raise the capital and do all that side, bring on another key principal. That'd be cool.
And then Daniel Chun's, what are qualifications for key principals? Well, I kind of just said it. It's the net worth amount or greater. And Yeah, that's pretty much it. And have good credit. They're gonna check all your stuff. Let's see. I'm looking for another one. Facebook user. How do I find someone to hold my hand through the process so it's not overwhelming? Get out there and talk to people. Reach out. There's so many people in this chat that said they're looking for people to partner up with. Get out in these rooms and start talking to people. That's what you got to do, Facebook user. Partner up with people, even if no one knows anything. Partner up and start putting your arms out there to reach other people that can bring knowledge to the group. Learn together. Hugh Sutherland says, what tax savings advantages are there for seller doing owner finance? Oscar, I think you should answer this one.
What tax savings advantage are there for seller doing owner financing? Oh, good question, Hugh. Now, again, I will state this for the third time today. I'm not a CPA. None of us here are CPAs. None of us are financial advisors or attorneys. But there are very good tax benefits for your sellers if they're doing seller finance, right? For example, if you were to do a straight up cash deal with your seller, then they're going to have to pay taxes on the money that they got for selling that property. So let's say they're 4 million, they're going to pay a lot of money for that 4 million that they received at closing. Lots of taxes go to Uncle Sam. How can you mitigate that? By doing seller finance. They would then structure it where they're getting payments monthly and they're only getting taxed on the money that they're getting. So if they're making a lot less than that, then they can mitigate their taxes by doing seller finance. It's a very strategic way to mitigate taxes. A lot of investors do this just because of the taxes. So I would recommend if you are not asking to do seller finance to any of your sellers who are doing multifamily, you should, because they will probably lean towards it. As a matter of fact, Myron, you know this, our first deal, the 30 units, what did the seller say to us in order for them to mitigate capital gains?
Let me try to answer your question like you want me to. He wanted to seller finance. He wanted to at least, what's the word? Not deter, but defer. He wanted to hold off on paying taxes on his gains as long as possible. And he was putting all of his proceeds into a trust. And that trust was going, once he passes away, all that stuff is getting, all those proceeds are getting handed down to his grandkids. So did I slam dunk or?
You slam dunked it, bro. It's
Okay.
exactly the seller, he's an investor himself. He knew that if he were to get cash, he would have to pay a lot of taxes. He'd have to pay capital gains. So what did he do? He said, I want to do the seller finance so I don't have to pay those taxes. So it's in your best interest to go out there and start learning about seller financing or owner financing so you can help these sellers mitigate their capital gains or taxes in general.
I got one for KJ from Adriana Rodriguez. Would you say that the skill of underwriting helped you navigate all the actions you took to help figure out whether a deal is a deal? I'm going to let you answer that, KJ.
I know why you are having me answer this because I don't underwrite and I don't like to underwrite. I'm still learning. Like literally today, I was like, Joseph, I was like, how do I napkin underwrite this? And that's the basics. It takes me longer. I struggle a little more with it, but it's because that's not my strength. So I think if you enjoy numbers and underwriting and analyzing, then yeah, that will take you far, and you can use that as an asset to go to all these other people who are like me, right? That are good at talking to brokers and sourcing deals and building relationships with people. You just need to find your match, somebody that complements what you like to do. And if you don't like analyzing and underwriting, well then go find somebody who does and be their other half and bring them deals to underwrite, because that's what I do. I bring deals to the table and then I pass them off to Joseph and Ione. So I don't think it's something that you have to know, but I'm still working on learning at least more, because it will help my underwriters if I can napkin underwrite it and say, hey, this isn't even a deal, rather than sending it to them and then they tell me, hey, this isn't a deal, you know? So, oh, that's so sweet. I made all those slides. You guys who came to the underwriting Zoom, I learned by making those slides. I was learning in that moment when I was creating the problems and the formulas and all of that. And that's actually in our Facebook group in the featured tab. You can go look for that. There's slides that we created from the Friday underwriting Zoom. And then earlier today, I posted all the previous Zooms in a Google Drive. So go search through the Facebook group if y'all need that content.
Boom. Tommy says, do you use a heat map while evaluating a property? Yes, we absolutely do. If the neighborhood is questionable, even sometimes when it's not, we want to figure out the demographics of the property. Location, location, location.
Yep.
Okay. Myron, I'm gonna let you answer this one. Look for another.
If a Bo asks if a property cash flows, why would you get rid of it? If it won't cash flow, why buy it? Bo, this is interesting because I think the same thing. And you know, it's really depending on the who you are, like what kind of operator are you wanting to be? We want A-class properties. We want those nice properties that we want to bring people to, that we can do cool stuff with, that we can get like a nice coffee shop and a nice steakhouse, you know, as a commercial tenant. Wouldn't that be baller, right? And so if Bo, if your first deal is a C-class, and nothing wrong with C-class, but you know, hey, I want to jump out of this thing and I want to roll it into something nicer and cooler and all those things, right? I get excited about the cash flow on a C-class. I'm super pumped. But like when you show people like pictures of beautiful pools and workout equipment and all that stuff, it's fun. So what do you want to do? You want to have 2,000 C-class or 1,000 A-class? You know, it's just kind of how do you want your portfolio to look? So I would get rid of it because I want to roll it into something else. I'm gonna pump up rents in a respectful way to say that, but I'm gonna pump up the rents and I'm gonna make $1 million in a couple of years, and I want to roll that $1 million into my next deal where I'm gonna love the property, right? If it won't cash flow, why buy it? Because I'm gonna get a really good deal on it. If let's say it's just vacant, you know, somebody has a property that there's some weird laws out there where you're selling an apartment. This is something we wouldn't do, but you have to have a vacant property in order to sell it in some states. I'm hearing. I don't want to go too much further in that because I don't know much about it. Because I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. But there are some different reasons to buy properties that don't cash flow. If you get a really good deal, you can get into it and get it cash flowing, and just think about what kind of deal that would make at the end, right? So the cool thing is we have amazing underwriters. I'm going to point this way. Okay, there we go. I'm going to point that way. We have amazing underwriters that really help us look at these things. And, you know, if we don't cash flow till month 7, okay, how can we make this work? Right. So I feel like I'm kind of pulling answers out of my butt for you, Bo, but you know, I love you, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I think that you're getting some properties coming to you, and I hope that helps in some way.
Well said. Jason Johnson, is there a mentorship program for doing multifamily purchases? Yes, there's mentorships everywhere, all around. Do your due diligence. If you want to know more about the one that we're a part of, or the ones that we're a part of, you know, reach out to us. We'll let you know more about it. I think some other people had the same question. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, reach out to us and we can let you know.
Yeah,
What?
there's our Instagram handles right there. Hang on, I got something. This one's for you, babe. Bo says, bro, I took so many screenshots of those slides. I'm gonna have Costco blow them up and print them and hang them on the ceiling above my bed.
I appreciate those words because I spent hours making those slides.
You really did,
So
guys.
it feels good to know that they were helpful and you guys appreciate it. So thank you.
You were gonna show something, or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I think we got 2 questions left, and I think we're done. We got Eunice Williams. What do Class A and C mean? So there's 3 classes, maybe 4 if you count that, but there's 3 classes, A, B, and C. Your A class is your brand new properties, so say like less than 5 years old. Class B is, a little bit older, you're not brand new, but it's not like old as dirt. And Class C, typically, 1990s, 1980s or older, right? Class C is you're older, typically, lower income, more value add properties. And your Bs are just right in the middle, brand new, between brand new and needs work. And some people say Class D it's really just bad. It needs a whole facelift. It needs to be completely redone. That's a Class D, but it's not really a thing. Let's see. I think this was the last one. Oh, not a question. I guess we're done.
Awesome. Thank you guys for
Wow.
joining us today. KJ, did you have any announcements before we head out?
Sign up at jbmlegacy.com if you guys want to get text blasts from us. That's how I send you guys reminders. Be on the lookout. We've got more content coming your way. If you guys get value from this, please post about us, tag us, comment, like, subscribe. That feedback really boosts us and gets us excited and pushes us to continue doing this because we do spend a lot of hours putting into doing stuff like this. So mainly because my love language is words, so at least it makes me happy.
As much words she wants to hear, guys.
No, but for real, we love and appreciate every single one of you that come on here and support us and have joined our Facebook group. And you guys, we love to hear your wins about you connecting with other people, getting deals, making teams, like all of that. It's super exciting. Like if there's anything we've done that has helped you move along further in your journey, let us know. Like that's the kind of stuff that like makes our day. So if you have questions and need help, let us know. And I think that's it. Okay, y'all can see my cool outro video I made too.
Treat, guys. Y'all are in for a treat.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.